Derion Kendrick is on his way to Georgia to play for the Georgia Bulldogs, former Clemson defensive back, all ACC guy. This is a big pickup for the Dogs. Breaking news on Dawg Post. Thanks for joining me, Dean Legge from Dawg Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. And this is something that a lot of people have felt was going to happen. There were a few hurdles to jump, but this has been whispered for a long time in Athens, and it's really not shocking that this has taken place. So, this helps you dramatically with Kendrick coming in on your defense, in your defensive backfield, specifically at corner. I mean, you're talking about in this offseason, Georgia has added two, all-something players, All-American from West Virginia and All-SEC, let's just say all-conference player from Clemson. And this is a spot, when you look at the big board over here, that Georgia needed some help with. I mean, coming out of the spring, they had 12 guys, after Burns transfers, you had 12 defensive backs. That's just not enough. Nevertheless, how many corners you had or didn't have. So this gives Georgia the ability to not, Georgia fans, I guess, to not go full Larry Munson on the 2021 season and think it's gone before it's even started. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's played, at Clemson, which means he played in the playoffs. He didn't have the greatest game on earth against Ohio State, but I don't think anybody at Clemson did that night. For moving forward, it gives him the ability to reset his college timeline, get ready for the NFL, because he's not going to be at Georgia for 2 years. I mean, I just don't see that happening. And it gives Georgia what it needs, essentially the ability to rent a player for 6 months and get good at a spot where they're good, but they're young. They're very inexperienced. They just lost two players who went in the top 33 in the NFL draft at this spot. So it was a position of necessity in terms of covering what you had to do in the offseason. You had to get better there. You still got Keely Ringo, who is someone that people in Athens really have a lot of belief in, but he's not played. He's played a down, I think, was what it was against Cincinnati. It wasn't much. So this is a spot where Georgia really had to get better, and they did. I think if you add an all-conference player, people want to make fun of the ACC, that's fine. But, this guy's an all-ACC player, came in, and he's probably better than what Georgia has at one of the corner positions. I'm not saying he's better than all the DBs, no. But this is what Kirby's going to do. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I'm talking about the transfer portal. If a person is out there and they are high level, there's only so many schools they're going to look at. Georgia's one of them. I mean, think about, I'm going to include LSU in this, but think about the people that Georgia, Ohio State, LSU, Alabama have all added in the transfer portal. I can't speak to Clemson because off the top of my head, I don't think they've had anybody come in. But they've certainly lost someone now in the transfer portal, just the same way Georgia has lost guys like Justin Fields, et cetera. There's not been a lot of et ceteras, but that's the most notable one. But, Joe Burrow leaves Ohio State. Justin Fields comes into Ohio State. LSU loses a guy who started last year at quarterback. He's going to transfer to Auburn. This is a new world of college football. There are really no loyalties anymore. And the jersey you've got on is a jersey you've got at the time, because apparently you can just leave the next year and go play for the arch rival if you want to. Clemson has, now that I think about it, Clemson's lost a running back to South Carolina. I think he might have been a grad transfer. Someone can correct me, and I'm sure all of the trolls who like to get triggered by these videos will do as such. But this helps Georgia. There's no question about it. You've had now, how many good players have come in through transfer portal? Lately, at a minimum, you've got Kendrick, JT Daniels certainly being one of them. I mean, if you wanted to say, Jamie Newman solved the problem for a long time at Georgia. The DB from West Virginia is coming in. You had a DB the first year, of course, he was a grad transfer, Mo Smith coming in. This is just what it is. Georgia's punter on the 2017 conference championship team, that guy was a transfer from Columbia. Now, it was a grad transfer, but it was a transfer. This is what it is. And, Stetson Bennett was a transfer that came in. He was a starter in 6 games for Georgia. Well, 5, excuse me. So this is becoming more and more what it is. For Georgia in 21, this immediately solves a problem. Because Kendrick isn't a guy, he should be a plug-and-play guy. So, you've now got 2 guys in the secondary that's probably going to start 5 guys. I mean, always going to start 4, but probably could start 5 and in some weird situations start 6. But you got 2 guys now that you're plugging and playing. And they're not going to be here for much longer than a year or 6 months, whatever it's going to be. But this is the new world of college football. I had an insider at Georgia tell me about 3 weeks ago that the person who's going to get it right in college athletics from here on out is the person who masters the transfer after the freshman year. The one, where you can just do it. I'm skipping the defensive back from Alabama that's coming into Georgia. The question there, though, is will he be eligible to play? Because that's an in-conference transfer, and whereas as of the time I'm recording this, the whole country has basically allowed that. The SEC has not yet done that, but that could be something that gets voted on at the SEC meetings, and it just, you're good. Now, the other thing with Kendrick is you got some off-the-field stuff, okay? You're getting arrested with possession. I mean, the possession, I got to say, I don't know. Yeah, that just doesn't seem like it's an issue to me. A gun where you're allegedly that you've fallen asleep with a gun in your lap. I've had friends who have battled depression, and I'm not suggesting that's what this is, but they've wound up with a gun in the car, and it's serious. It's not just some thing. And I think that Kendrick was discussing why it didn't work at Clemson with an outlet. I'm not saying what he said because I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember the outlet. But, there's stuff always going on. I'm not making excuses for him at all. He's got to do what's right for him and get to the NFL. That's what this is. But, guys go through stuff. He just can't make any mistakes from here on out. I mean, this isn't necessarily about Georgia. This is about he's going to have a reputation, period. And this is a guy who, if you're an all-conference guy, you are in the discussion of being, a top 50 draft pick. You just don't want to mess up that opportunity. So, Derion Kendrick's got a chance at Georgia now. I know a lot of Clemson people are going to be pissed. Hey, it's what it is. There's nothing, you can do about it. It happens. Georgia played against a guy that transferred out of Georgia this year, Brent Cox at Florida. Cade Mays, who was suing the school, his family was suing the school, played at Tennessee. It's just what it is now, y'all. It's nothing to get mad about, triggered about. I mean, I'm sure y'all will get triggered. You should seek help, though, because this is not overwhelmingly important in your life. But Kendrick will be at Georgia. It's really big news. The last guy that transferred into Georgia turned out to be a pretty good player, but he didn't play until November. I don't think that's going to be the case here. And we'll just see. Now, how that will happen for him playing his old teammates at Clemson, you're dealing with a really good offense and a very good quarterback and some wide receivers. He will help Georgia, but he's going to have to help a lot to slow Clemson down. And we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that more. Go over to the Dawg Post website, dawgpost.com. Make sure you're signing up for the newsletter before you leave this video.